Hi everyone, welcome to 40K on Point, the channel that quantify warmer 40K. The objective of this channel is simple: to become the equivalent of a car guide for every 40K units. This will be done by assessing the value of each point in a unit. At the core of our evaluation is the premise that one point is a relation between offensive capacity and defensive capacity. If a unit has the same level of offensive capacity as its defense, therefore the unit is worth its point. Also, if some units have low offense but high defense, they are also worth their points. Or if they have high offense and low defense, like corn berserkers, they are also worth their points. A unit that will be worth more of their point will mean that they will have either a higher defense or a higher offense than its counterpart. On the other hand, a unit that either has low defense or low offense will come out with a lower score. The value of every 40K unit has been assessed by the same method shown here, in which the overall value of a unit depends on the overall damage coefficient, its mobility factor, and the vulnerability coefficient. The damage coefficient is the sum of anti-tank shooting, anti-personnel shooting, anti-tank melee, and anti-personnel melee. Shooting is defined by everything that is done at the shooting phase, and melee is everything that is done in the fight phase. The two most predictive indicators were the tank and the personnel, and those are: the tank is defined as a toughness 8 save 3 plus unit, and personnel is defined as toughness 3 save 5 plus unit. Other standard can be used, but those two were considered to be the most predictive of the overall damage coefficient of a unit. Of course, a big 500 point unit will do more damage than a 50 point unit. However, to standardize everything, all units were normalized to 100 point of their unit. Therefore, a 500 point unit, their overall damage was divided by 5, and a 50 point unit, its overall damage was multiplied by 2. Also, for shooting, the range has been considered and has been a factor that either increased or decreased the value of the shooting capacity. The vulnerability coefficient is expressed as fortitude in the videos. It's essentially the defensive capacity of the unit. It is measured by the overall value of the unit divided by the number of wounds of the unit, and included the defensive factor like the toughness, the armor saved, the feel no pain, granting cover, all those kind of factors. The nature of this coefficient is that the lower score it is, the most positive it is. So it means that you are paying less per wounds, so normalized wounds. So therefore, the lower the score, the better it is. The coefficient was normalized for 10 points per wound. A normalized wound is standardized as a toughness 4, save 5 plus unit. In 8th edition, it was toughness 4, save 4 plus, but with 9th edition, it has changed. So by applying the defensive factors, all wounds are try to be normalized at 10, and when it turns out to be lower than 10, it means that the unit is has more defensive capacities than usual. When the score is higher than 10, it means that the unit is more fragile. Also, considered are the mobility factor, which essentially is the speed of the unit, but also its capacity, if it can transport personnel, or if it can move and shoot or disengage from melee. And all that is multiplied by the damage coefficient of the unit. So when considered with the vulnerability coefficient, it gives the overall worth of a unit. For example, if we take the intercessors, the overall damage of 100 point of intercessor, including the range of the gun and all those kind of things, would be for 100.805, and it's multiplied by the mobility factor, which is 1, which is the normal for infantry, and it's divided by the vulnerability coefficient, which is the point of the unit divided by the number of wounds, and then the toughness and the save tree 3+ is included, and that gives overall coefficient of 7.4. So because the damage coefficient is higher than the defensive capacity, the unit is worth 113% its value. In order to simplify the understanding of the metrics, we use a 5-star system. 1 star mean it's not good, 2 star mean it's average, 3 star mean it's good, 4 star means it is very good, 5 star mean it is excellent. The shooting and the melee, both anti-tank and anti-personnel, are considered. The rating for the anti-tank is half the one of the anti-personnel, because it is harder to inflict a wound on a lemon rust than it is to inflict a wound on an infantry guard. Fortitude and mobility are also considered within the 5-star system. The fortitude needs the lower the score it is, the better it is for the unit, and 10 being the norm. Everything that is below 10 is considered to be good. And for mobility, everything is related with speed, but considering other factor, essentially a 1st star is something that would go 4 inch or less in speed. The 2 star would be something between 5 and 7 inch, and the 3 star would go around 16 inch. The 4 star would go around 28 inch per turn, and the 5 star would be something above that. Of course, also considered in this mobility is that the element like being able and shoot at the same time, to disengage, transporting the unit, the amount of people they can transport, can they shoot and the transport, all those elements are considered in the mobility factor. It is also important to understand that statistical data are not absolute in any shape or forms. Metrics represented in the video are not to be considered absolute. There are units that will be not very well assessed in the analysis, and that can be useful in tournament or in game. However, it is a very standardized and objective way to assess the efficiency of 40K units. It took me a few years to develop that system. This system is good to describe units in specific metrics. It is also good for to see the impact and the synergy of many stratagems, auras, those kind of things that will be called in the videos force multipliers. However, it is not good for anything that deals with characters, as characters are often themselves force multipliers, and their effect may depend on which unit they are around, so it's very hard to quantify. And also the morale and the leadership is not assessed in these videos. The intent of this channel is to present all units, starting with the Games Workshop unit, and then moving with and assessing all the Forge World units. By the nature of the matrix, it's quite easy for me to adapt to any changes that Games Workshop or Forge World would put to their units. So those are the goal and methodology of 40K on point. I hope that the data of this channel and its analysis will help 40K players to make better lists and have fun during their tournament. Thank you for listening. Over and out.